Well, hello folks, I'm back on car business again, and on this occasion it's Beaulieu Autojumble. Now this is the first of two parts, and today I'm going to be driving down to Beaulieu in the car, a distance of about 270 miles, and it's going to be M62, M60, M6, M40, M42, then the A34, then the M3 and M27. So there's quite a lot of mileage there to cover. Best part of 300 miles. But before I do set off, I want to show you a few little preparations, a couple of jobs I've done on the old Allegro, things that have needed doing for a while. I've had a brake caliper sticking, so I've rebuilt that with stainless pistons and a new seal set, and the radiator was past it as well. It was the one I put on the car in 2013, so the thermometer was creeping up in traffic. So yeah, it's gonna get me there and back, no problem. But I want to just make these preparations, do these few jobs because they want doing. So let's have a look at what I've done. Now you wouldn't think, looking at it, I mean the state of it now, that it's such a reliable engine looking at its external condition, but of course it is, and it always has been. Tough old day. As part of the pre-journey preparations, which has included rebuilding a front caliper with stainless pistons because it was sticking. The chromed steel pistons had corroded, and I'd cleaned them up once before, but it was binding, so it wanted doing. I knew it was on borrowed time. So I've done that, did that the other day, and I'm just going round replacing all the snow tyres with the summer tyres because it's summer. Not meant to have snow tyres in the summer because they wear a lot faster, different rubber compound, you see. So I've not been down at this end of the car for quite a long time actually, and one of the maintenance procedures is to test the rear wheel bearings, the hub itself play. There's got to be a bit of end float. It's a taper bearing, so there's got to be a bit of end float. You can't preload them and tighten them up, otherwise they'll just destroy themselves. But a point of interest is that on the very early Allegros, the reputation stuck with the rear wheels falling off, and that's actually true. And what caused that was this washer here, which retains the outer bearing race. The washer fitted to the very first cars was too small. It didn't cover the outer race. So in the event of a bearing failure, there was nothing holding that entire hub on the stub axle. So off the wheel came. Cue a hastily recalled Allegro back to dealers to have the latest washer fitted. Just a bit of interesting trivia there. So I'm gonna do this now. There's not much to see really, it just consists, although while I've got that off, I'm gonna have a look at the brake linings, see how they're doing for wear, and then I'll do this up again. So just back in a minute. Right, this patch there is just cleaner. That I blew some grit out of the hubcap there before I removed it, so you don't want any grit finding its way into the bearing. But yeah, there's loads left on the linings. I've never replaced these in the 30,000 miles I've had the car. They could be original linings. It's now on 62,000, because I'm not one to drive on the brakes really. So yeah, I'm glad I've looked, and they're fine. You'll note the retaining springs there, these beehive springs and steady pins. I do like a good drum brake setup, something simple like this, not the Marina type, which is quite hellish to work on. So, back on with the drum. So the procedure is, and always read the workshop manual if you're unsure, even if you are sure. There's something you quite often forget. So the procedure is, while spinning the hub, you tighten it up just by hand, not mega tight. You tighten it up, then slacken it off. I think it was 1/8 of a turn or something. And then you tighten it by hand as much as you can, and fit the crenellated retainer there, and you'll see there's a hole in the stub axle where one of these should line up, you see, so you can insert the split pin. So it's better really to have it just on the slack side rather than the tight side with these. But of course you don't want loads of play, and cleanliness as well is paramount. Right, so you see now I can insert the split pin, and I am going to reuse the one I took out. I know, strictly speaking, the single use only, but I'm going to use that again. Now, wrong with it. And that's it. Just refit the dust cap, the hubcap proper, I should say. And I'll probably just inject a little bit of EP90 oil, just a tiny smidgen, just to assist the grease lubrication, because the oil of course acts as a carrier, whereas grease can get pushed out. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Just an interesting part of the maintenance really, and something to be aware of on these particular cars. Of course, a lot of it applies to cars with taper bearings and what have you. Be careful with the preload. Okay. Also, a part of this journey preparation, well, something I've been meaning to do for ages anyway, is renew the radiator, because that was the one I had recovered about 10 years ago, and yeah, its efficiency has decreased somewhat in that time. I noticed the temperature thermometer, temperature gauge creeping up. Yes, it does have a hotter thermostat in, but it doesn't generally make a difference. So I'm lucky I had a new radiator squirreled away, and this one, when the car goes, someone else can recore it. You never throw them away, because it's the side tanks, you just can't get these radiators anymore for them, and they can be rebuilt. With the new radiator installed, after a few more coats of paint just to protect it, I took it for a short test drive just to check for leaks, and whilst I had the fan off in a horizontal position, I put a few drops of oil on the fan spindle. Part of the advanced specification of the Allegro was a thermostatically controlled cooling fan, while its competitors, or some of them, stuck with antiquated engine-driven fans. Touching those two contacts together tests the operation of the fan, and the system should be filled with a soft water and antifreeze mixture. After everything was tickety-boo, I was quite satisfied, after I topped the system up again, to hit the road. So I'll see you probably at the services. Stopped for lunch at Keel Services, and it's the worst laid out abomination I've ever had the misfortune to stop at. It's very, very congested, and the traffic has been stop-start, very slow all the way, as you can see. It's the M6, and I'm afraid that's Britain these days. It is, the country is it's ceasing to function. It really is, but the Allegro is still going strong. So off we go. I've had my lunch. Mum's just having hers, so we'll hit the road again and try and get out of this mess. Well, I spoke too soon there. There has been a little mishap. It's the damned main beam combined indicator stalker's broken. I signalled to pull out, and the main beam, something went crack, and it looks like a spring because it's just not returning as it should. So main beam was stuck on. I've just had to stuff a bit of card in the column there. Otherwise it's going alright. We're doing a good steady 60 odd, which is what these cars are happiest at. They will go faster if needs be, but like most A series, they like 60 around that mark. Now we're on the M6 toll, which should be most advantageous. It's much quieter for starters. A lot nicer. So we're going to drive on. So we made it to the B&B, 7 hours at the wheel. But the little Allegro held up fairly well, in spite of the main beam breaking. But yeah, he's only used half a tank of fuel as well, which is a good thing. They are good economical cars. That is certainly one thing. So yeah, suitably refreshed now. Join me in part 2, where we'll go and have a little look round. Okay.